Hi there. My name is Susan. I'm the owner of magicalfloresbookstore.com, and here I am in my bookstore again. Today, I was going through my ordering process and thinking about essential books for adults. This is a children's bookstore that I'm in, but what are the things that really matter? What are the stories that will stick with us no matter what? And one of the things that I have in the store is some classics. So we've got a set of 4 here that come in a nice faux leather cover. And they are the stories that teach us values and teach us to be a better version of ourselves than we maybe were before. So I wanted to talk about some of those books today. The first one is Aesop's Fables. These are things that just are fun to read. They're short little stories, and there are in this book 284 different stories in this book. And some of them are just, a page long. So they're very, very short. Some of them are less than a page. But these are, if you will, classic Greek philosophy in a child-friendly form. So if you're not familiar with Aesop's Fables, they are short little stories that teach you a lesson, let's turn to one. Why don't we? The Lioness and the Vixen. A lioness and a vixen were talking together about their young as mothers will, and saying how healthy and well grown they were, and what beautiful coats they had, and how they were the image of their parents. My litter of cubs is a joy to see, said the fox, and then she added, rather maliciously, but I notice you never have more than one. No, said the lioness grimly, but that one's a lion. And the moral of the story is quality, not quantity. So these are the kinds of stories that you would find in Aesop's Fables. The next is Hans Christian Andersen. Now, these are stories that have been well adapted, and in this book, there are 64 short stories here, including Thumbelina, The Little Mermaid, The Emperor's New Clothes. These are classic stories that we've known for a long time. The Princess and the Pea, The Ugly Duckling, The Snow Queen, The Red Shoes. Let's see. And The Snowman, The Ice Maiden, The Teapot, The Gardener and the Noble Family, and What Old Johann Told. So these are stories that go from the 1820s to 1872, and they are folk tales that Hans Christian Andersen gathered. And let's see if I can find some nice pictures in these. So hopefully, I don't know if this one has pictures in it, but the stories are beautiful. And if you've seen Frozen, you know the story of the Snow Queen. And this one doesn't have pictures in it, unfortunately. The next book is a book that has been adapted. Oh gosh, there's television adaptations, film versions of it, play versions of it, radio versions of it. So this is The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. These books started as stories he told his son. His son was basically disabled at a young age and didn't have the ability to go out and play like the other children did. So he came up with stories that he would tell them that were all about the world of nature and mole and rat and badger and toad. There is actually, I don't know if Disney still has it, but there was a Toad of Toad Hall ride at Disneyland. And so this is something that's just been beloved for years. It was originally purchased in, does it say when this was originally purchased and published? I don't know why I want to use the word purchased. 1800s. So, but this is something where I can listen to these stories and they immediately make me feel relaxed and comfortable and happy. So, Wind in the Willows anthropomorphizes, so it gives human characteristics to animals, but they still have their animal characteristics. So Mole is doing spring cleaning and gets tired of spring cleaning and decides that he's going to leave and go outside and explore the spring day. And as he walks through the woods and the edge of the woods, he comes across the river and discovers Rat and discovers boating on the river and makes a close friend and leaves his little home behind for a long time while he lives with his friends. And you see all these crazy adventures of Toad, who is the wealthy son of a wealthy man, and he lives in a beautiful, wealthy home in the English countryside and is constantly going after trends and getting crazy and getting in trouble because of them, because he's rich and spoiled, whereas Mole and Rat and Badger are a little bit more stable and secure and smart, but they're just not as wealthy. So Wind in the Willows, gosh, if you can find a video of that or just an audio version, there's so many beautiful versions of it. There's probably over 200 different versions of this in different kinds of media of this book. So very well beloved. And the last one in this section is The Wizard of Oz. With Wicked coming out, you've got a very strong renewed interest. I like how the entrance of this is poppies. You've got a renewed interest in The Wizard of Oz, and these stories are, it's not just the story of The Wizard of Oz and the movie version of it, but it also goes into some of the other stories after this, like The Cowardly Lion and the Hungry Tiger, Tik-Tok and the Gnome King, Ozma and the Little Wizard. So there's other stories in here, but it's also got the classic illustrations from the old book. And there's things that we learn about from here, and the most famous being There's No Place Like Home. But classic books, they're classic for a reason. These stories, they tell the same values over and over again, and they help us discover who we are. So go and find a classic book and read it. It's something that piques your interest, and share those with your children and just enjoy the love of reading. These books are just so wonderful. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in the forest, and we'll see you next week.